What is up, guys and girls? Hurricane Liz here, and in this video I talk about the 5 biggest mistakes brand new drop shippers will make on their Walmart automation stores and how to combat those. So after you know these, you'll be armed and dangerous and ready to be able to pump that store to the maximum amount possible. So you really want to pay attention to this, and if you haven't already, go and subscribe to be able to get more tips and tricks on Walmart and how to make money online in general. So other than that, I'm super fired up to hear these. I hope you're fired up. Let's go and do this. All right, so let's talk about mistake number 1. And I see this happen time and time again, and I'll say this much. If you have multiple Walmart stores, this will be your biggest and number 1 enemy that you could potentially have. So pay close attention, particularly if you have all those Walmart stores. That is logging into your store from the same IP. So you don't want to log into multiple stores with the same IP. An example I can give of this is if I have several stores, I want to almost always log into them with a VPS or a virtual private server. It's kind of like a mini desktop on a server. It's like having a little version, your little computer version on there, and you're able to log into it, work from it, just as if it was a brand new, fresh desktop. If you have one of those, I do recommend you use it. If you don't have one of those, I do recommend you get one. They can be as cheap as 15 bucks. They work pretty fast, they work pretty well, and I would recommend you and your team logs in from it. Now, most people that have this automation service will have that available for you. However, if you're doing this on your own, never cross-mingle the IP addresses, because this is the single biggest way you can get all your accounts shut down, particularly if one account gets shut down already. And I've seen this happen to multiple people that I've talked to on the phone. That seemed to be the number 1 determining factor as to why many of their stores were suspended at the same time. So make it a point to either ask your team if they have the VPS option available, and or if you're managing it yourself, make sure you look for a solid VPS that works fairly quickly and your VAs can work off of it pretty quickly and easily. All right, the second biggest mistake that I see brand new Walmart dropshippers make is not realizing that they will be suspended straight out of the gate when they start their Walmart store. So what do I mean by that? Like, Liz, what are you talking about? You're scaring the shit out of me. I hope this does scare the shit out of you, because that's what it's meant to do. Now, I want you to understand that the moment you open up your Walmart store and you start making sales, Walmart does anywhere from a 6-week to 90-day suspension period on your account, and it holds your funds. Not all of them, sometimes 80%, sometimes 70%. They seem to just vary depending on the store, and they'll hold your funds and not pay you until that suspension period is over. So what does this mean for you? Well, it means that you have to have enough available credit on your credit cards to hold you up past that point in time until they start releasing the full amount of funds. So that's why it's important to have such a big stack of cash, and that's why I went over in my budgeting video how much you should plan to have available, because you don't want to get stuck in a position where you have to slow the store down or shut the store down in order to be able to pay off all the credit card and then allow it to keep going, because then you lose a lot of momentum. And the other thing that you don't want to get caught with is without any money, because then you won't be able to fulfill those orders, and then you'll just get your store suspended even further and potentially not even be able to come back from this. So be prepared and try to have the most amount available that you can on your credit cards, and also be prepared to either do one of 2 things: either pay the credit card off yourself from a side amount of money that you have saved up, or number 2, use a card like the Amex Plum, which gives you 60 days to pay that credit card. And if you have either one of those available to you, then you're in good shape. So the number 3 mistake that most brand new Walmart dropshippers make is not having enough money to hold them through what's called a velocity hold. So what is a velocity hold? A velocity hold is a hold that Walmart places on your store when it starts making sales too drastically or sales dip down too drastically. In either of those instances, what Walmart will do is they'll send you out an email that says you should continue selling and going forward with business as usual. However, they are going to hold your funds and or your payment for the next set amount of days. That set amount of days can be anywhere between 14 and as much as 28 days. And now here's the crazy thing. That 14 to 28 days isn't from any particular date that they set forth. It's just they are going to hold it. Like I've had a guy that I know that said he was going to have a 28-day hold, and as of today, he's still at day 42 with the funds held. And that could be because of several different factors. He did cross-mingle his IPs, as I talked about earlier, and he did do a couple other things like that. But you got to be able to make sure that you can sustain your store sales for probably approximately 60 days. Now, one thing that Walmart is infamous for is falling behind. So, for example, if they suspend a bunch of stores at once and you start submitting your plans of appeals, if they're behind in allowing those stores to come back and reading through those actual plan of appeals, then your store could just fall in the back of the line, and it could end up being 30 to 60 days until your store is allowed to start selling again. And this could really suck because of the fact that, again, it stops your momentum. So just be prepared to weather the storm, whether it be for 30 days and or 60 days, just in the event that this happens. Because at the end of the day, I always tell people, this is a business, and with every business comes risk. Just be informed about the risks involved. This is a fantastic business model, but you just have to understand there will be bumps in the road. All right, so the fourth biggest mistake I see brand new Walmart dropshippers make is trying to use the same LLC multiple times to get their store approved after it's already been declined once through Walmart. Now understand this, the minute that Walmart declines your store, if you've already appealed it and tried to get them to allow you to still sell on their site, it's over. Do not use that LLC ever again because they will never approve it. It will pretty much be in a data storage someplace where they're not going to allow that LLC on their site ever. So what you've got to do is start a brand new LLC. That means possibly dissolving the first one and or just continuing to use the first one for whatever you were using it to begin with. But at the end of the day, if you specifically created that LLC for your Walmart store and it gets denied, then make sure you never use it on Walmart again. You can obviously use it anywhere else you desire, but just not on Walmart because, again, it is pretty much in the store approval graveyard and you can never use it again. It's dead to Walmart. So it should be dead to you on Walmart as well. All right, and the fifth and final biggest mistake that I see brand new newbies make with their Walmart dropshipping career is entering an Amazon URL in their store application process. If you've got a Shopify store, you don't need this. In fact, sometimes Walmart will frown upon your Amazon store URL no matter how successful it's been. I've got friends that make upwards of $3 to $4 million on Amazon. And also I've made as much as $2 million a year on Amazon. And guess what? I showed them the store, still got disapproved. They didn't care how big the brand was. They didn't care how much the brand sold. All they really cared about was other certain information that I didn't provide, one of those being a fully equipped Shopify store. So the Shopify store route is a much better route to get your store approved on Walmart than the Amazon route. So I just altogether avoid putting an Amazon URL. It could cause a lot more problems for the approval process on Walmart than not using it at all. So I elect to not use that URL. It's a lot easier to show them a Shopify store, even a brand new Shopify store has a lot more credentials with them than an Amazon URL. So that's pretty much the 5 biggest mistakes that I see newbies making right now on Walmart dropshipping. Hopefully that helped you. As usual, put your questions in our comments below, and my email's also below in case you want to take a call to talk about Walmart automation. I personally take every single one of those, and I thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.